Hey everybody, Bryan back here again for another walk and talk. In a familiar place to me, not so much to you. I've not come here before for one of my older videos. This is Lindenwood Nature Preserve, located in southwestern Fort Wayne, Indiana, very close to the University of St. Francis, where I've been before. In fact, this area out here, I like it quite a bit. And I've applauded the area a number of times in previous videos, so it's nothing new to you. So, you know I'm a fan of the Southwest, as I am the South, Fort Wayne. I hadn't come here before, and I've really been putting it off. And the main reason is I'm not a big fan of this particular location. Here's why. As I walk this, you're probably going to notice, and it's happening right now, I'm getting bugs right in the mouth, right in the face. This is a very, very buggy location. It's probably going to be kind of a shaky video because I am swatting away bugs right now like crazy. Oh. There's a squirrel down there. Not happy about something. Anyways, yeah, they're just bugs all over the place, and I'm a little afraid to do this because I just don't want to be swallowing a lot of bugs. I probably should have worn a mask. In fact, if I had really been thinking about it, given what's going on in Minnesota and Canada right now with the wildfires, and how where I'm at is really prime red haze area. So if you're in the Midwest, let's say Wisconsin, northern Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan for sure, you probably woke up to a few hazy, lazy days there where it's like, well, looks like crap outside, I'm not going to do anything out there, so it's going to be a lazy day. Right now it feels pretty good. It looks pretty good. I've got a mask in the car. Probably should have worn it today. Doesn't have a good mesh on it for obvious reasons, so I might come across a little muffly in my tone. That's okay, I'll make do with this. We were supposed to have family coming over tonight, but my mother-in-law decided, you know what? Because of the air quality, we're not going to do it. We're not going to go out. And my first question was, well, wait a minute, you're not doing anything outside. You're just getting in your car in your garage and driving to our place and walking 7 steps to our front door. I mean, what's the deal with that? But this is typical behavior for my my wife's side of the family. Anyways, why am I here today? Well, partly because of that free time. The other part is I want to get in a little bit of a video today because I was thinking about something that occurred to me. There's a beautiful little butterfly flying around there. It occurred to me when I was watching TV. And I got my first glimpse of a back-to-school commercial. Now, if you rewind your timeline a bit to when you're a little kid, and you're watching TV, you're in the middle of summer vacation, you're having a good time, and all of a sudden you start seeing references to school and books and boxes and book bags and pencils and pens and papers. It's like, oh no, we're getting close, aren't we? And we are. Mid-July. For me, personally, I have about a month to go before I'm back in school. I'm happy about that. Very honest about that. I don't want my summer vacation anymore. I'm done with this. I'm ready to go back to school. See the kids get back to work. I have a few reasons for that. But I was given a little bit of encouragement this time around because I received a letter from my principal with an actual update for what my job is going to look like. And I thought, you know what? Good. I appreciate it because last season I didn't have that. go listen to one of my other videos and you understand what I'm talking about with that. So this time around, getting a good heads up as to what's going on for me, that's a good thing. I really appreciate it. She gave me some options for what I could do because of the nature of turnover, changing job roles, systems changes, things like that. I was very appreciative to her for that. It did cause me to have to reapply for a particular job because my hours have changed. And according to the district, you can't just, immediately insert someone into a job like that. You have to have them apply to make it official, which I did. It only took me about 15 minutes or so. But with that and seeing that commercial, I was like, I'm getting psyched. I'm getting a little hyped up for the new year. I was told that I have a one-on-one again, but that's kind of a hybrid for being a classroom assistant for special ed. And that's good. That's what I did last year. I enjoyed it quite a bit. This time having a special kid I'm, looking after, that makes it more fun, more interesting, more, personally rewarding, I guess you can put it. Looking forward to it. I've met this student before last season when we were doing our state testing. She was one of my students in the classroom with me. Real nice kid, real friendly. A few developmental problems. Nothing too big to overcome. Just, it's one of those things where you try to be a good daily source of encouragement, to be a good adult in the room, and help her along the way. Nothing too extravagant there. So I'm looking forward to that. But back to the back to school phenomenon. I remember being a kid and seeing those commercials, and it was devastating because that was like ringing the bell, the death knell. Boom, boom, boom. Going back to school right around the corner. Before you know it, it's going to be there. And you get those feelings of dread and sadness and that thick throb in your gut. It's like, anxiety builds. New teachers, new classroom, new responsibilities. It's only getting tougher. It's like, it's funny how things change for me. Being on the other side of the expectations, it's like I'm looking forward to it. Here's one of the ponds here at Lindenwood. No fishing, pond overlook. Nice little seat there to look at the algae, standing water more or less. I think this little this overlook has seen better days. I thought about magnet fishing this, but it's so murky and so goopy and buggy out here. I don't think it's worth my time. Technically, you're supposed to go anywhere there's people. Makes sense. They're out there with their phones and their stuff and taking pictures, hanging over the rail, just like I am now. I could be dropping this right in. Be a mess getting it out. This place really isn't too terribly interesting, to be honest. It's really cool in the fall, though, because you have all the changing leaves. They're falling, the crunch on the ground, the crisp air. It's a good morning place to come to in the fall. Winter's not too bad, especially when you get a lot of snowfall. It's really pretty. Maybe I'll come back here. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll do a summertime video. And then as it get deeper into the school year, maybe some new things come up that are worth talking about. I'll come back in the fall. Maybe back in winter for part 3. So yeah, treat this as part 1. part 1, episode 4, A New Hope. How about that? There's your Star Wars reference. Probably the only one I'll give you. This trail that we're on, it's got a name to it. I don't remember. Some like trail of reflection or resistance or something like that. I don't know. Naming these trails, it's sort of like at Frankie Park. Frankie Park, they have a really, really wild trail system within the woods, and everything is named. Of course, it's goofy names like Turtle Trail and Savage Leopard Trail, something like that. I don't know where this one goes. If I remember right, this goes right around the pond, through the woods, and I think by a fence. And the last time I was here, a tree fell, nearly collapsed the fence, which isn't good. Maybe we'll see if they fix that. This is going to be probably prime bug territory in here, so forgive my silence. So with the back to school idea, it's all marketing. Go get your books, or excuse me, book bags. Go get your pencils. Go get your supplies at our store. This is where you got to go to get them. I was at an outdoor mall that we have here in Fort Wayne. There was a Marshalls. I think it was a Marshalls. And I was sitting there outside. My wife was inside looking at stuff, and I was like, I'll sit outside for a while. And this family walks out, and they had bought their kids bags, and the kids were just wearing the bags outside. They thought it was kind of fun. It's like, okay. And they're very elaborate. They all had little characters on them, excessive numbers of pockets, like charms hanging from them, golden embossed things like adorning it and just make it look really, really elaborate. And I'm thinking, and I've watched the kids change over time. I get this, but I don't know when it switched from simple materials, simple supplies to trendy, fashionable things. And I've seen this in the classroom too. The bags are one thing, but like jackets, those can be very, very expensive, which is unusual considering how many jackets I pick up in a regular day and put into the lost and found. To no real argument from the parents, which is strange. But the kids are acquiring a lot of really high-end things. It didn't really make sense to me, and it hasn't really, considering what they're using them for. It's not as if they're doing really elaborate, high-end scientific research, and they need top-of-the-line materials for this. Then it dawned on me further that if you go into any like shoe store, like if you go to the mall and you go to like a Foot Locker and there's kids' Foot Locker, there are little tiny basketball shoes that are like $150. And I don't quite get the mentality of a parent who gets their kids that sort of clothing. Bugs. It's one thing to say, well, I think my kid looks really cute in Jordans, so I'll get him Jordans. Fine, but your kid is growing at a rate that is very, 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 very exceptional. Before you know it, they're going to outgrow that stuff. So all that money you spent on shoes could have gone to other, more practical things. Woo! It's a big bug there. But I'm not sure the practical is a really good goal for the regular family out there nowadays, because there's so much pressure, so to speak, to be hip with things and to get the highest end stuff you can possibly acquire for your kid. Because if you don't, there's that pressure at school of looking like you're, destitute, or you can't You can't swing really good things for your kids, and that's a shame, because those of us who work in that realm, we don't really want to see that happening. We don't want to see, these wonderful parents out there struggle with not only food, but their supplies as well. And there are really good advancements across the country with this, in enacting, supply, almost like charitable donations to these families. And depending on where you work, you may already have something like that in your school. It's like backpack programs, free supplies, or at least reduced price supplies. You can find these things all over the place. And it's indicative of a lot of things. When you think about the economy itself, how that, never really improves at our end. At our level, it just appears to be getting worse and worse and worse. So, does it really benefit a parent to care that much about giving their kids the highest end stuff? I don't think so. It's right around here where that tree had fallen. I think we might see it up here, the fence. You'll see me pulling away a bit whenever people come around, trying not to get them in the camera. Don't know what that is, but whew, this might be a really short video. But at the school level, they try very hard to make the supply gaining process easy, comfortable, low stress. And I think it really has been that way for a long time. My reference personally is when I was a child. I remember going home and my parents would get a letter in the mail saying something to the effect of, Maple Spur, hey, here's a list of common things you might want to give your kid. Oh. Not sure what that's doing here. Oh. Come on now. There we go. There's a mosquito buzzing around my ear. But anyways, the letter would say something like, hey, you should probably get your kids some pencils, a box, maybe a pen or two, calculator, erasers, that whole thing, notebooks, folders. Or in my time, the Trapper Keeper. That pretty much held everything. The good old days. I don't know if that's the case now. It may be online. It may be something that parents just have to know to do. Because it takes, labor time to put together letters and fold them up into envelopes and send them out in the mail. So I think everything might be done electronically. Or it could be the case that parents are just savvy enough to know what to give their kids, what to expect. If their kid is in first grade, just escaped kindergarten, yeah, get some crayons, glue sticks, make sure they have a book bag. Something that's been added, and this is something I just remembered. When I was a kid, I never had to bring in things for the entire class. It was never about that. It was always about me. You took care of yourself. It seems now you're expected to bring in hand sanitizer, tissues, dry erase markers, things that are communally used or used up. Is that really for the student's benefit? No, it's more for the teacher, because the teacher has to spend, what was it? Read somewhere it was like $500 a year on just supplies for their own students, something like that. And that's on top of what they're allowed through the school's budget, the allocation to the teacher, which, I mean, there's a good amount there. And the teachers can use it how they wish, provided it goes to the classroom. But when you talk to certain teachers, they're like, man, we don't get any money. We have to pay for all this out of our pocket. It's hard to do. Well, yeah, it is. You gotta be practical with what you're doing. You can't go overboard with this stuff. And they understand that, but they care so much. And they know who they're working with and working for, that they're inclined to do a little more than they would be expected to. And this goes right back into my talk about that teacher I worked with last season who went above and beyond to give those fifth graders a good field trip in lieu of the one that they were supposed to get that was taken away. This whole discussion really just revolves around money. So really, going back to the original point, you turn on the TV right now, mid-July, yep, you're just going to see those commercials. Back to school, get your stuff now. We have a sale. Go to Target, go to Walmart, pick up all your stuff. And even the stores themselves are competing against one another. Well, if you go to our store and you're a teacher, you get 20% off your supplies. Okay. Cool, I guess. Some places already have book bags put up together. You just buy the bag and you get everything inside of it. Okay, good idea. That's in addition to the charitable donations that the parents can get through their local schools or churches or community centers, all that stuff. Woo! This may have been a bad idea today. Into the fray, into the bug storm. Kind of reminds me of a joke I heard somewhere. This little mosquito goes home, says, "Hey, Dad, I had a great day." And Dad goes, "Why was that?" This guy goes, "I went around all these humans, and they were clapping for me." That itself is a joke. But I think the dad is supposed to say something like, "Well, I'm not so sure they're clapping for you, son. No, not all those who applaud for you wish you well." Yeah, I'm swatting at these, because there's like a swarm right in front of the camera. So that's where my face is. So they're drawn to that. Drawn to the exhaust. Woo! Thank goodness I didn't have a topic that was really serious for me, because I would be really tempted to get into some stuff that's really interesting to me, but my goodness, I can't even. I can barely talk with this. So yeah, this is Lindenwood. No, I don't think I can swing it, but because there's a little bit of a matter of taste, I guess. Lindenwood also has a beautiful cemetery. And I may have brought that up before. I seem to recall mentioning something about that. I don't think I could film in there. It's not a thing I really like to do. But at least it's in the open. Still a little bit wooded. There's some open areas, of course. I don't know what this is. Woo! So okay, yeah. There's the entrance. Holy moly. So long story short, if you work in schools right now, let's say you're a teacher, you're an administrator, some professional in the education realm, and you're gearing up to go back to school, how do you feel right now? You have more or less a month. If you're kind of like us here in Indiana, like mid-August, you got that teacher day or staff day in preparance for the next day when the kids arrive. You get all your ducks in a row, T's crossed, I's dotted, all that stuff. You looking forward to it? I am. I'm ready to go now. This summer has been really tough for me. Don't really like what I'm doing job-wise. Part of it, at least. Just trying to make a little bit of money before I go back. I might walk over here real quick. There's folks coming down the lane there. Could have gone that way to get back to the entrance here. There's another little pavilion. It's shaded, but I don't think it's really a big deal. I mean, there's so much cover here. What's this? Okay. What's this? The man's on the moon and the pigs in the sty. I see them suffer in, I wonder why, the rats in the glue, what a bad way to die. I hear men ponder with cruel, lazy minds. I feel this is like the prologue to some Resident Evil game or something. Be on the lookout for zombies or some wild, distempered raccoon or something. But it's been about 27 minutes. I'm going to end this now. These bugs are really getting to me. I'm going to try to find another place to go here soon. Got a busy week coming up ahead. A couple of my jobs have some big responsibilities coming up for me. I'm preparing for. Had to buy a bunch of knee braces and like orthotics for shoes because of all the standing and walking I've been doing lately. It's starting to get to my knees. Today feels pretty good, but after tomorrow it's probably going to be sore again. So thanks for joining me once again. Wherever you may be, whatever you're doing, have a good time. Enjoy your Sunday, if it's Sunday when you're watching this. And take care of yourself.